Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Penguin Nonsense. I am your host, Edith, and welcome back. Um, we have a kind of short show for y'all today, but I want to say, like always, thank you for joining us, whether it be Spotify or YouTube or even Google Podcast and any of our social medias. If you watch our TikToks or that kind of stuff, like I said, I am still trying to get the hang of this whole social media, so bear with me, guys. Okay, I know I like putting videos out there, but at least if you follow us on Spotify or YouTube, thank you for doing that, and thank you for joining us. And without further ado, let's get on with our stories for this week. So, our first story comes from a topic that has been big throughout the last year or two or so. And I think it's one of those topics that has kind of come and gone. So I know everybody has heard about the whole student debt relief that Biden was hoping to pass through, and hopefully a lot of these students who went to college and took out all these student loans wouldn't have to pay all of it back. They were gonna have some amounts reduced and that kind of stuff. But today it got pretty much shut down. It didn't end up passing. So I found an article. It talks about how the finances of about 40 million Americans with college loans may take a hit now that the Supreme Court has struck down President Biden's plan to forgive up to $20,000 per person in student debt. Borrowers are now facing a double whammy this summer because of High Court invalidated the plan just before the pause on debt repayment lifts in September. That means borrowers will need to start repaying their loans on September 1st without any debt relief. And this hurts about 60 million people who were approved for Mr. Biden's debt relief plan before the program was halted last year due to legal challenges. Another several million people had applied but weren't approved before the program was halted. And does Mr. Biden have a second plan? He actually does. Yes, Mr. Biden on Friday announced that to his administration he is pursuing a Plan B for debt forgiveness. Through the Higher Education Act, the president said his goal is to compromise, waive, or release loans under certain circumstances, although the details aren't yet known, and Biden warned that the process will take longer. So it is not a total loss, I guess, but let's be honest, we don't think this president's going to last too much longer. I don't think he will be reelected. So I don't know if anything will be done in the next little bit that he does have left in office. And I think for a lot of people, it was really it struck a nerve to a lot of people who were like, well, what about the people who have already, paid off their loans and that kind of stuff? Like, they never got to have any relief or that kind of stuff. And I think it sucks for those people because they could have, gotten something out of this if this had passed. But at the same time, I thought it was a great opportunity, especially for the generation of now and pretty much I guess millennials and after. I feel like they had to go through so much more of our economy being so high that it's just hard to make a living on a normal job, even if it's a good paying job. Sometimes of what we call decent paying jobs, it's hard to even start living paycheck to paycheck and maybe having just a little bit of extra. And if you work for just minimum wage, it's even worse to live paycheck to paycheck. So I think this would have helped a lot of the people who did decide to go to school and, better their education for whatever reason, and, you know, help them be able to not have to make those payments. It would have helped maybe their living situation. Some people have to choose between, today am I going to get gas or am I going to have to pay my loan, that kind of stuff. And it really sucks that in order to have a better education, you have to go into so much debt that at the end of the day, you're like, was it even worth it? Because a lot of these jobs, their pay is not going up. So all this economy just keeps going up, and we're not getting any money for it. So it really does suck to be living in this time of era. So I feel like it would have helped. Honestly, I know that a lot of people were against it because they don't think it was fair for the people who had already paid their loans. But I honestly do think that for the people who could have benefited from it, I think it was fair enough to at least help them. I can't speak from experience because I didn't go to school, but I was blessed enough to work my way up in the company that I work and be able to have a job that for some people, they say that you might need a college degree, but thankfully I was able to just get this job without having a college degree. And I am very thankful and very blessed, but not everyone gets these opportunities that I got. So some people do have to go to school. So I don't know. I feel like education shouldn't cost as much as it does, unless it's like a private school. I get it. But if it's just a normal like state school or even a community college, I feel like it shouldn't be as expensive as it is. I feel like we should do something about our education system. There's plenty of countries out there who, I believe, like some part of Europe, you don't have to pay your student loans if you make under a certain amount of like money. You don't have to pay them back, and that kind of stuff. Like I feel like everybody else tries to help out the people who are trying to go to school, trying to go to college, but the USA, I feel like there's so many people with student loans, it's not even funny. And sadly, that is our reality. So I feel like our government should try to see what other ways there is to help these people out. And I hope for the better for these people, even if there's people out there who don't want them to get any relief. I really do hope that they get some type of relief. So look forward to see what's going to happen in the near future for all of these people who do have these student loan debts. And on to our next story for the day. Today we have a story from Reddit, and it's more of an advice story. Found it on the wedding subreddit, and the title was, Mom Wants to Wear Her Old Wedding Dress. It goes, I hope this is in the right form. My mom got married in a very simple linen dress. It's been altered and goes just below her knees. She has worn it on several occasions since the wedding and asked if I was okay with her wearing it to mine. As it is very easy to dress up or down with a shawl and jewelry, I said yes. I really liked the idea of her getting to use her dress at my wedding, and as it is very simple, elegant, and not bridal at all, except for the color, I don't think it would take away from me. My mother-in-law, as well as my closest friends, have questioned me allowing this and have pointed out that people will most likely talk badly about my mom and her choice of the dress. I am kind of insecure, and my friends questioning my decision has led to me also questioning my choice. Maybe I should ask her not to wear it, or if she would like to change into something else at the reception. I am looking for advice on how to handle this, and both sides have relatives that does like to gossip. Strangers on the internet may not know the whole picture, but they might be more unbiased than my future mother-in-law or a friend. The skirt of my dress is also not white. It's in blush, that's relevant. I just want to avoid drama or people getting a bad impression of my mom. I also want to make it clear that even if my mom suggested it, I really loved the idea. And that was that story. I have told y'all before that I feel like a wedding is what the bride decides. A wedding is between the bride and the groom, and I feel like what you feel okay with should be okay with, and no matter what anybody says. I do understand that she thinks a lot of the people might talk bad about her mom for deciding to wear white to the wedding or whatnot. And I feel like that's a conversation she should have with her mother. I feel like her mom suggested it and she was okay with it, so they went on with it. But I feel like if it's really starting to get to her mind about, did I make the right decision? Will they be talking about my mom? Will they not be talking about my mom? Is this maybe too awkward or that kind of stuff? And I feel like if her bond is strong enough with her mother, it's something that she could simply bring up and be like, hey, mom, I have talked about this with my friends and stuff, and they think that it might not be a good idea for you to wear this dress. Would you mind wearing something else if now you really don't feel comfortable with it? And, if she does get mad, then I'm so sorry about that. I really don't think she would, though. But, I mean, she could always wear something else with the white dress. She could wear, like, an extra, a different color shawl to go with it, like maybe a black or something like that. But I think it shouldn't be too much of a problem, and especially if the bride is already going, non-traditional white and it's more of a blush color. I feel like it's okay for the mom to wear white if she wants to wear white. I know before I've said it in one of the other like episodes of the podcast, wearing white to a wedding is like slapping a FU to the bride. But I feel like in this situation, she was okay with it and she got her permission, and it wasn't like she just decided to wear white because she wanted to wear white and that was that, So the fact that she was honest with her daughter and was like, hey, I would like to wear this dress. Is that okay with you? And her daughter was like, that is totally fine with me. And she feels happy with the idea, and she likes the idea of her mom having her wedding dress on the same day she is getting married, kind of like a special moment for her. Then let it be. I honestly don't think that she should have to cater to all these people and be like, no, mom, you need to change. You need to pick something else. Like, no. I feel like if OP feels that everything is fine and she was okay with it to begin with, she should just let her. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. I know I typically ask y'all about these little stories because they're the most opinionated like stories where different people have different takes on them. Some people might agree that she should really not wear the white and it was awful for her to suggest to wear in the white. But some people might be like, yeah, I mean, if she wants to, she wants to, So let me know in the comments below what you guys think. What are your thoughts? Should she wear the white dress? Should she not? And I hope that OP gets to make a decision and it doesn't make her feel too bad about it. There was one comment where she was like, yeah, it says a lot about them. I also feel like I need to add that my friends know about the relatives in questioning, which is why they are more concerned than anything. Some have worked with them and others know them through friends of friends, and they always have something bad to say about everyone. My future mother-in-law has more insight in my husband's side of the family, but has also met one of my aunts on my father's side that isn't a fan of my mom. Our side of the family has worked a lot on building a better relationship with him, more to make us, me and my sister, happy as we get along great with our cousins. Even so, I guess I still don't trust them to behave themselves fully. Now that I've calmed down a little bit, it feels like the best course of action is not to care and just don't contact them again if they decide to talk badly about my mom or me. So it looks like OP will be going with this decision and sticking to it. And she will be letting her mom wear that dress. And I totally agree with her. I feel like if this side of her family is really that toxic, that's always talking about people and that kind of stuff, and they still end up showing their true colors after this, then it's for the best to separate yourself from that side of the family. You know, we are blessed to live in a time of not having to deal with toxic family members, where it's okay to decide who your family is. Because at the end of the day, just because you're blood doesn't mean that you have to stick like glue to each other. Thankfully, we live in a time where friends sometimes are even more family than family is. And I think that's great. That's lovely. So I really do think that it would be good for her if this family members do start talking bad about her mom and her decision. Then she needs to break away from that family, because according to her, this isn't the first time, and apparently even the friends know that these family members are toxic like that. So definitely something she needs to think about if she wants to keep being around these people. So let us know what you guys think. I'll be reading those comments. And on to our last story for the week. This story was a cute little short story of some dolphins. And the dolphins were out of the water. And this article goes, Linda Grukog was out running errands in Digby, Nova Scotia last November when she spotted an unusual sight off the coast. 16 Atlantic white-sided dolphins had become beached. Figuring they didn't have a lot of time, dolphins can survive out of water for only about 6 hours. Grukog quickly got in touch with a Halifax-based Marine Animal Responsive Society, aka MARS, as well as some friends who individually contacted the local fisheries department and posted about the dolphins on a community Facebook page. MARS personnel were too far away to get to the dolphins in time, so they enlisted Digby's volunteer fire department to help coordinate the response. Soon, about 40 locals who had seen the news online arrived on the scene and waded into the mudflats. Then they carefully moved the dolphins to tarps or sleds and gently hauled them back to the water. It wasn't long before each dolphin was safely back in the sea, swimming with its pod mates. I know that story is old. It says it was back in November, and I just got around to seeing it. And it's just, I think it's beautiful. It goes to show that not all humanity is bad, even nowadays, where, faith in humanity just sometimes gets a little smaller and smaller. It's these types of acts of kindness that make you just have a little bit of hope. I know sometimes it sucks to see like animals accidentally get beached and they end up here in the sands and whatnot, and they can't get back to sea. And some of them end up dying because there's nothing we can do about them. Like, especially with whales, it's hard to move them back into the ocean and stuff like that. So the fact that all of these like volunteers ended up coming together, this little community coming together to help these dolphins back in the ocean, really goes to show how people are still willing to work together for the better of these animals. I am a very animal person, and it would have sucked to have lost all those dolphins just because, no one could have done anything about it. And so always be that person. Always be that person who, if somebody needs help, help them out. I know these dolphins weren't humans, but if you see someone, who needs the help, just like these dolphins did, go ahead and help. Go ahead and do what you can. Keep spreading that little bit of hope in this world. All right, guys? So that was the last story of the day. Like I said earlier, it was going to be a short episode. But thank y'all for keep coming back, the ones who keep coming back. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I will see y'all again next Monday. Oh, and have happy holidays, okay, guys? I know we're going to go into 4th of July. Be safe out there. Watch out those fireworks. Keep your dogs on the leash or safe wherever y'all are, because these fireworks scare the dogs, the animals. So please be careful. Take care of them. Get anything ready that you need to have ready for them, because a lot of animals get lost during this time because of the fireworks and whatnot. If you're in the USA, we do fireworks a lot for the 4th of July. So be safe during the holidays. Don't drink and drive. And have good safety partying, okay? All right, bye guys. See y'all next Monday. It's a penguin.